Hello and welcome to our Take On, a post-playthrough look at the game we just played. We are CVB. My name is Cynic well, you get the picture. And this is Harold Archibald, who is now named after an undisclosed location.
Oh really? Why's that?
Well, you see, David Cameron just sent me an email asking me to stop misrepresenting his country. He said it was an embarrassment.
Oh, so I'm just a nowhere man now.
You're getting it.
Anyway, please explain this stupid idea of yours.
So, this is our Take On, and the game is Rogue Legacy. We've just finished the game, and I thought it would be good to reflect on my playthrough.
Okay then, you reflect, and I'm gonna go find a new country.
Okay, well, first, I'll explain the format.
Russia sounds nice. I could get used to Putin.
So, we've broken the discussion into 5 parts. The story, the gameplay, design, game feel, and the token verdict.
Cynic versus Russian. Sounds pretty good.
Harold?
Yeah? What do you want?
Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, game things. Sounds very interesting.
It's game feel. Do you think you could at least take a little interest?
Fine. What's game feel?
Well, it's my own coined term for a part of the game. But we'll talk about that later.
Great. Can I go back to what I was doing?
So Rogue Legacy is a game for these consoles, and it was released on these dates.
Russian citizenship application.
Can you fulfill your worthlessness later so we can begin?
Fine. But only if I can speak to David Cameron about this.
Fine. Can we just start with the fucking story?
Okay, so you want me to be blatantly honest about the story of Rogue Legacy? Well, there isn't much to go on.
Yeah, to the point where the Wikipedia page for Rogue Legacy doesn't even have a fucking story section. Talk about threadbare.
Now, we do have something to go on. We play as a lineage of adventurers who must explore a castle that's, I don't know, cursed or something.
Well, something must be wrong as there's only 2 pieces of real estate in the entire fucking town. Hey, randomly placed journal entries. Got an explanation for that?
James, please, I'm trying to explain the premise of the game.
Coming from your mouth, I doubt they'd understand anything.
Well, if you think that, then maybe you can do a better job.
Alright, then I will. Kill shit, get cash, die, home improvements.
But how does the money leave the castle? The corpse certainly isn't carrying it out.
Is this what you're doing now?
Well, yeah, if you're gonna shit all over my explanation, then I'm gonna shit all over yours.
Fine. I could use an idiot challenge. May I continue?
Oh, by all means, please.
Good. Now as I was saying, next boss, rogue kill, gold door, repeat. Happy?
Yeah, that was great. Except for one thing. What exactly is the purpose of the gold door, other than being a game MacGuffin?
I don't know, okay?
That's all I wanted to hear?
Yeah. That's about all the context you need. Moving on.
Alright, now we move on to the gameplay. Finally, something with a little more substance. Can we agree on that, right, James?
Ah, yeah, you're absolutely correct. This game does indeed have gameplay, hence its classification as a game.
You have to make everything an insult, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Anyway, Rogue Legacy is a roguelike, Metroidvania-style game with RPG elements.
Yes. In this game, you can run, jump, hack things with a sword, use spells of some description, and when you die, you can spend your earned money upgrading your castle to implement various boosts to your characters, such as purchasing better weapons or increasing your health.
Wow, not a single snarky comment. I'm impressed.
Well, you are easy to impress.
And there it is.
You know, like a child.
I get it.
'Cause you're stupid.
Enough!
Alright. Don't drop your teapot.
Teapot? Anyway, Rogue Legacy's main thing is the lineage system. When you die, you respawn as the next generation with different abilities and traits. And when you respawn, you have all of your money from the last run to spend on aforementioned upgrades. And then there's Sharon.
Ah yeah, Sharon. The world's best nightclub bouncer. And he spends his time guarding an old castle.
Well, he does require all of your gold to enter the castle. He might not fit in the real world.
Are you kidding? Imagine if he took all of the Kardashians' money. Or Justin Bieber's. He'd be a bloody hero.
This is off topic. Have we mentioned the runes or the lockdown system? How about blueprints?
Simple concepts. Runes are unique upgrades like a double jump or a dash. Lockdown saves the castle layout but you earn less money. And blueprints let you buy better weapons. Can we move on already?
Fine.
Now time for the next part. Design. Just make it quick.
Okay then. So Rogue Legacy features 16-bit pixel art graphics, 4 different areas to explore, a chip-tune instrumental soundtrack, undead enemies, and that's about it. Rogue Legacy is a fairly simple game in this aspect.
Oh, good, we're done. So that rounds up the game recap.
Yes, we can move on to your segment now, Yanes.
Alright, now we get to my part of this review. The game feel.
What exactly is the game feel?
Well, the game feel is kind of hard to explain, but it's what separates the good games from the bad games, from the absolute best of the toppest of tiers of games. It's what makes like Super Mario 64 what it was. It's what makes a game like The Legend of Zelda feel like a legend.
Okay, so
for instance,
it's the emotions provoked by the game?
Not just that. It's not just the emotions. It's like the raw sense of what the game is and what it stands for.
Okay, so
in essence, like a complete understanding between consumer and developer.
It's that feeling that everybody knows, but nobody can describe.
It's very difficult to describe, and to say that the game feel is something that a game has is probably like a bad term, but the best games on somebody's like best games of all time list, they will all have the game feel because of what they mean to somebody.
Yeah.
So,
largely opinionated section.
Largely so, and that's fine. This isn't a review.
Yep, it's not a review.
This is our take on it.
This is our opinionated section.
I mean, if people want our take on, then they're going to come here for our take on the game.
Not a review.
Exactly. I mean, we're still going to give a guideline of sorts, but largely no. So, Rogue Legacy. The first question I feel like we should probably ask with Rogue Legacy, in terms of opinions, is it good?
I think it's pretty good.
Yes.
For a roguelike, it's a good roguelike.
It's a good roguelike. I feel like Rogue Legacy, like, thematically pushes progression, where other roguelikes you can just get stuck in a hole of repeating and repeating and repeating.
And not getting anywhere.
Rogue Legacy has this RPG system in the castle where you spend your gold, and you can... From the beginning, things are really cheap, so you can pretty much always spend your gold at the beginning.
Yeah.
So there's always this sense of progression, particularly at the beginning of the game. And I feel like that definitely helps the idea of this combination between roguelike and RPG.
Yeah. Yeah, I never actually thought about it like that before. Like, it's kind of an RPG because of all the shops and stuff at the beginning.
Well, yeah, and the upgrades, the various weapons. That's it's constantly giving you stuff to do, stuff to progress towards. Even though it's just a roguelike, it's just this one run.
Yeah,
there's still like, oh, I can get this and I can improve in this way. Okay, so let's discuss the story of Rogue Legacy. Or lack thereof.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, so Rogue Legacy is a game without context. Completely and utterly without context. I mean, why are you exploring the castle? What the fuck does the gold door do? Who the hell is Sharon?
Yeah.
I know who Sharon is in mythology.
But in the context of the actual game itself.
In the context of the game, why the fuck is he guarding the castle? Is that supposed to be symbolic of something?
Why the hell does he take your gold before you go into the castle?
And the only answer that I can come up with is because the game says so.
Yeah.
There's no.
I feel that's going to be a recurring trend.
It is, but as I said, the good games that really get the game feel, they're able to at times break that and actually mesh story with reasons for gameplay.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned Mario 64, but we'll just ignore that for the time being because that's a bit of an exception.
Fair enough.
Mario 64 is just good. So like, why we're in the castle? Where the fuck is everybody else?
Yeah, I feel why you say that and you rip into it for that. It feels like that complies with the trend that most roguelikes do. They don't really explain much. They don't have much story.
I understand that, but like, I feel like a game needs the context.
Yeah. So if it did have story and stuff, it may have been fantastic.
It could have been. I don't think Rogue Legacy necessarily has the depth of gameplay though.
Yeah.
To reach that level of fantastic.
Yeah.
Its gameplay is, as a Metroidvania game, it's instantly recognizable for somebody who's played Symphony of the Night or Super Metroid or, I don't know, bloody beat 'em up from the 90s, Double Dragon or something.
Yeah.
There's that instant like recognition of the mechanics of the game. There's platforming very, very reminiscent of Symphony of the Night, and it seems like that is a big inspiration for this game. I definitely noticed that. But the depth of gameplay just isn't there. It's very reminiscent of Symphony of the Night, but it still feels simpler. It feels like there's less to evolve in the gameplay. You're always doing the same thing. You're running, you're jumping, you're hacking, you're sometimes casting a spell.
Yeah.
That's realistically all you'll ever do in Rogue Legacy. Sometimes there's like the runes. The runes are a good gameplay implementation.
Sort of addition to that, sort of making it like augment your things.
Yeah, the idea of having the double jump or like a dash, it really increases the merit for skill-based gameplay and rewarding skillful players. So I did enjoy that. Keep in mind that I'm not a skillful player myself.
There is many examples of that in our playthrough.
What are you talking about? Most skillful player that there was.
Oh, yes. I particularly like it when you purposely corrupted the game so we could like manipulate the final boss kill.
Ah, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So, like, the thing about Rogue Legacy's gameplay, though, is, like, it's reminiscent, but... And that's definitely a thing to its credit. Like, people from the 90s...
Nostalgia and stuff. It's quite a big part of the game feel, I'd say.
Yeah, people who played the SNES and even the PS1 will definitely have that instant familiarity with what Rogue Legacy is.
And that's the kind of sort of game it's trying to be. It's trying to appeal to that sort of...
Yeah, and that's definitely...
old game sort of area.
That's definitely a strength of Rogue Legacy, but I feel like in the same merit it's also a weakness because it doesn't actually add anything. It doesn't actually add anything new. It doesn't feel like it really stands out from this crowd. Like, why would you play Rogue Legacy over, say, a Symphony of the Night or the Bloodstain that's coming out next year?
Yeah.
What does Rogue Legacy specifically bring to the table in terms of feeling completely and utterly different? It looks different. It's got this lineage aspect, and I feel like that's probably a good enough segue. Let's talk about the lineage aspect.
Lineage.
It's a neat idea.
Yeah, it is.
It works, but I'm not going to say it works well. As the lineage aspect feels like it's the game's main thing. It's its only draw, and it's its only...
It is its thing.
It is its only unique point, really.
Yeah.
And they probably don't do enough with it. The different classes, and one thing you've gone through is that, one, they're either not different enough, or they're either so different that it's almost not worth it to do the run. Like when I was trying to farm the final boss, trying to get to the final boss. This is corrupted footage, unfortunately, so we don't have evidence of this. But I was trying to kill the final boss, and then I got one that was like all archmages, and I'm just like, well, I can't kill the boss on an archmage.
Yeah.
Let's just fucking throw this run away, because that's what it was worth. So there's not enough depth of the class, and there's probably not enough. There's not enough that you can do with all of the classes.
Yeah, some of them feel really useless. Like, if the spells were better, if the spells were more prominent, if you had more mana ability to regen your mana, then the mages and stuff might actually be useful. But
that's the thing. The spells feel like a convenience rather than a
mechanic. Yeah,
like it's like you're a berserker and there's a dude really far away that you can't quite get. Just throw a knife at him. It's not like if you can't throw the knife at him, then you're fucked kind of scenario. And that is kind of a problem. So we'll get back to design. So I've mentioned Symphony of the Night a couple of times, and design-wise, I feel like there is definitely an inspiration there. The castle feels very gothic in its looks, and definitely feel like that's an inspiration from Symphony of the Night and the whole Dracula stuff that precedes it.
Yeah. I haven't actually played a lot of those games, but I definitely know what you're referring to.
Yeah, well, there's that, and there's a lot of, like all of the enemies are undead, so there's definitely, like, it makes the castle look old.
Yeah.
Like, really, really old.
I guess that's kind of the point.
Yeah, that's the point. It informs, like, the idea that it's not a modern thing, that there's not just going to be, like, a fucking iPad in the middle of the castle. But, like, you make all the enemies undead, and that gives a sense of age, and by giving that sense of age, you can then make reference more subtly to things like the story of Dracula, or some of the Lovecraftian type enemies. The eyeballs definitely feel Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
Other than that, we'll talk. Shit, probably got sidetracked a bit. We'll talk a little.
Just a little bit of a ramble.
Yeah,
but that's okay. I feel this section's always going to have that.
Well, yeah, being the unscripted section as it was, it probably is. Yeah. So we'll talk a bit about gameplay. The gameplay of Rogue Legacy is good. It's tight. It is tight gameplay. The hitboxes of the sword, particularly, are very well defined.
Yeah, I did notice that.
So you'll always...
Like when you had a shorter sword, it would be incredibly difficult to hit things.
Well, you'll always know what the range of your swing is, I feel.
Yeah.
It's very easy to understand. At the same time, there have been a couple little hiccups with the boxes where the hitbox has been a bit larger than the model. And that has gotten me, like, hit, or maybe it's just a bit of... There's no input lag as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Other than, wireless controller.
Other than that's kind of implicit.
Yeah, so that's like a default input lag of, like, 5 milliseconds or something, or, like, less. But, yeah, okay, so the game controls well, and I feel like the challenges that it puts out in front of you, like, it is definitely like a here's this room, now it's up to you to go and kill everything in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what all the challenges are out in front of you, and if you get hit, well, it's just your fuck up, really. But at the same time, I do have a problem with the difficulty.
You think it's too hard?
No, it's not that I think it's too hard. I have a problem with the difficulty progression. Oh, okay. So when you enter a zone, the castle or the mire or the forest or whatever, it starts at a difficulty, and it's always that difficulty pretty much throughout the zone, except for a couple of rooms.
Yeah. And
then you get to the boss, and it's like the next area up in difficulty. It's such a stark jump, and I'm okay with the boss being such a stark jump. It's just there's no conditioning for how much more difficult the game is going to become.
Yeah.
It's just like very jumpy in its difficulty curve. Like, it's like, okay, so you're in the first level, that's kind of easy. Jump, boss. Okay, another jump, forest. Another jump, forest, boss.
Yeah, it would be nice if it was very staggered. And as you got to, like, the area where the boss was, like, the few rooms before it started getting a bit harder and then...
Well,
but that would require more processing and more
the unfortunate
if you look at it from a game design sort of point of view.
I understand it because everything is procedurally generated, so it's like, where would the difficulty be? Like, it could be like well,
you could set up sort of a radius thing, but that's...
I guess you could. It would have required more time and more effort, but it probably would have helped because the game can tend to throw you into situations where players are just not ready to handle what's there.
Yeah.
Particularly with the final boss. Like, the final boss is not difficult. I will start out by saying the final boss is not difficult.
No.
He does a lot of damage and he hits everywhere, but it's easy enough to avoid. The problem is that if you're not strong enough to kill the final boss, then it's a massive trek out of your way to go and get the necessary cash to go and get strong enough. And you have to rely on the fact that miners are the only really effective way to get lots of coins. Yeah, either that or you get like lucky with chests or something.
Yeah.
Like it's largely, it can be very luck based on how much money you get, based on how many like chests you find, or if you win the gambling game with the fucking stupid clown, whatever the fuck he's called. But Okay, so we've come back to the question of, is Rogue Legacy good? Yes, it's good. Does it have the game feel? Does it have the necessary response from a player to reach that next level? And I don't think it does.
Doesn't have the game feel.
No, it doesn't have the game feel. I think it's an enjoyable experience. It's a fun game while you play it, but it doesn't have that depth of gameplay or story or really design. It's very simplistic in its design to justify being that next tier up.
So yeah, I'm gonna butt in and say, because I have an overall sort of opinion on this. It's relevant to this.
All right.
It's the type of game that Rogue Legacy is. It's not like, so as a gamer, you sort of have a main game for a period of time.
Yeah.
But then you have some downtime where you don't have enough time to play that game, or you may be between games or something, and then you have this concept of a filler game. And that's what Rogue Legacy feels like to me. A filler game. It's the game you play when you only have like 5, 10, 15 minutes. You can just chuck it in there. It's kind of like any other. Roguelikes are very good for that, because it's just like 1 or 2 runs or something like that. And that's the type of game that Rogue Legacy feels like to me. And for that sort of point of view, I think it's a good game. But you wouldn't be using it as a main game.
No, it's. I don't think it would ever like breach the top 10 or perhaps even the top 50 or 100 games. But if that's what it intends to be, then it's very good at what it intends to be, if that's the intention.
Yeah.
It is quite fun while it lasts, and it is definitely worth the price of an indie game, as much so as a Super Meat Boy or
Binding of Isaac.
Or a Binding of Isaac.
That sort of thing.
Binding of Isaac is probably more worth it because it's cheaper, but that's just...
I think there's more replayability of Binding of Isaac as well, but that's just me.
Well, Rogue Legacy has looked into that replayability aspect.
Yeah.
Do you notice when we finish the game?
New Game Plus.
That goes on for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the mechanics of how everything scales, but the idea of Rogue Legacy is they definitely want it to be a game you can play again and again and again and again.
Yeah, that's what roguelike is.
Yeah,
it's the whole point of the roguelike.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a game that you'll play many times or will expect much variance in.
Yeah.
But it gives you things. There's something that we encountered, the little bonus bosses. That was...
Oh yeah, they're pretty interesting.
That was a nice touch as well. But they're just bonuses. They're
just a turbo version of the other bosses.
They're the on top things. They're the sprinkles on the cake. And if the cake is made of cardboard, it's not good enough.
Fair enough.
Well, it's very hollow, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we'll move on to our verdict.
Verdict.
Yes. We'll move on to our verdict just because we can get that nice flow going.
Yep, so how are we going to do this verdict?
So, we have 5 tiers, 5 tiers that we won't say named.
No.
Not because we don't have
Definitely
them.
because we haven't decided on all of them yet.
No,
not because of that. No.
We've got the names. We totally have all of the names. So, there's 5 categories. The first one is, of course, the goodest of the categories.
Yes.
Straight through to the worst.
Yes.
It's not meant to be a scoring system. It's not meant to be an out of 10 thing. It's meant to be where we think the game rates on being worth your money as a consumer.
Yeah.
And again, this is just our opinion. It's how willing we would be to drop money on this game as a potential consumer.
And it's relativistic, so as there's more games, it will be easier to place them on there because we'll have other games to compare it to that are already on.
Yeah, so
in the tier table thing.
Yeah, so on the first couple of games, we are just going to have to go on instinct largely.
Yeah.
Instinct of where we feel this game would fit in a hypothetical scenario full of games.
Yeah.
But well, Rogue Legacy, as we've said, it's a good game. It's a fun game. It's something that will distract you, and it is something that could take your mind off something with its jokes, however it wants to put it. But like comedy, it does wear thin after repetition. And as such, I can't absolutely recommend Rogue Legacy But hey, fucking Steam shit that sale, eh, cunt?
Yep. If it's on the Steam sale and you like roguelikes and you don't have one to play and you feel like playing one, then get it.
Yeah, as we said, if you want to just have fun, exploring a castle, if you're expecting something that looks and feels like Symphony of the Night, then this is a game for you. At least until Bloodstained comes out. I feel like Bloodstained may do it a little bit better, the whole Symphony of the Night thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Symphony of the Night as a roguelike.
Yeah, I think we may have to look into Symphony of the Night. Not Symphony of the Night. Oh, we could, but Bloodstained.
I am a Kickstarter backer of Bloodstained. Yeah, so I will get a copy of the game when it comes out.
Okay.
I think I get 2, actually.
Fair enough.
I don't remember. I don't remember what my tier was. So that was our first review. We're going to put a little end slate here.
Yep.
We'll put a place you can click to go back to the start of the series, and because our last video kind of got destroyed, and we were going to talk about it. We're going to talk about our future plans. Next week, we will do a little mini episode, a little look at of 2 idiots not knowing how to play video games. Again,
on the video game.
On the video game Pokken or Pokken or however the fuck you want to say it.
Pokken
Tournament, as it were. Afterwards, I feel like we could probably announce the next game.